Finally caught his dinner. Ooh, he picked out the guts or something, or spine or whatever that was. We rejected that. Yeah, these grassy fields, this oak savanna is like perfect red-tailed hawk habitat.
He's locked onto something.
So he's locked onto something?
Yeah. I see his head movements.
Without a doubt, I got a clear visual of a golden eagle swoop down after these California ground squirrels. There he is again. That's him right there. That's him. Keep an eye on him. Got a bobcat down there. Bobcat going down into the ravine onto the rock crevice.
I got him. He's gone behind that rock.
Why don't you go down there, try to position yourself. It's time to get up. Time to start today.
Morning, Professor.
Morning, Jacob. We have Alameda Creek down there in the canyon.
Yep.
I have to climb down into that canyon, and then Mission Peak is on the other side. So we'll be climbing up to Mission Peak. How would you describe the climb coming up, Jacob?
For today, up to Mission Peak, that camp. Pretty big. About half of what we did on day one. I think the climb's gonna be about 1,500 feet compared to day one, which was 3,400. So not terrible, but not easy.
Here's our beautiful trail. Here we are in Ohlone Regional Wilderness. Filtering some water at the spring. We have very limited water supply here. It's amazing they can even get us water up here, actually. We can hear a Buick's wren singing right here as we were pumping water. They are a shrub-loving species. Here along the coast, they tend to be associated near water or riparian areas.
He's right there.
There he is singing right
see
there.
him. You see him?
Singing in these shrubs here. That's him. Beautiful bird, distinct eyebrow with down curved bill. They're difficult. They like to stay in cover. Also an acorn woodpecker.
They hang out in these trees.
We saw one foraging, looks like for some larvae. The acorn woodpeckers, they'll switch diets. In the wintertime, they'll focus more on vegetation, feeding on acorns in their acorn granary, but they'll also find insects even this time of year when they can. Are we still on our trail, Jacob?
Yes.
Good. All right, got some distance to cover, some elevation change today.
Just stare down with the cows. What do you think about that creek?
Pretty old creek.
Yeah.
A little cascade there. Okay, we're seeing looks like a red-tailed hawk perhaps, perched on this oak over these grasslands. Probably foraging for ground squirrel, my guess.
He's locked onto something.
He's locked onto something?
Yeah. I see his head movements.
Yeah, these grassy fields, this oak savanna is like perfect red-tailed hawk habitat. You got the roosting and perch sites surrounded by grasslands. Good rodent habitat. The ground squirrels are just loaded. They're just all over in here. California ground squirrel.
He's turning. It's definitely a red tail. And he just pooped for us. And
ooh, yeah, definitely a red tail. Oh, nice.
a nice red tail.
Nice profile of him. Love this view with the haze here. Got a bobcat down there. Bobcat. It's going down into the ravine onto the rock crevice.
I I got him. He's gone behind that rock.
Why don't you go down there, try to position yourself. You got another day hiker coming up, dang it. And we're just saying this is bobcat habitat with all the burrows, all the ground squirrel. I'm gonna let Jacob try to get him by himself. There's another day hiker coming up. Unfortunately, probably flushed him. See if we can't get another shot of him. But all this open grassland with all these California ground squirrels. Lots of food for a bobcat. The ground squirrels are very aware of the bobcat here. And they were doing their alarm call, high-pitched alarm calls. Oh, it's a coyote. I see a coyote right over here. There's a coyote right here. Up there's a coyote. So we have both coyote and bobcat in here preying on the ground squirrels as their food resource. And the ground squirrels are on full alert because of the presence of both these predators. Predators coming at them from all directions, above and on the ground. So we saw these American pelicans circling up ahead, probably from the nearby reservoir. And just as we were trying to get some footage of American pelican, we saw, without a doubt, I got a clear visual of a golden eagle swoop down after these California ground squirrels. There he is again. That's him right there. That's him. Keep an eye on him. I hesitate to stand up. I don't want to flush him. Oh, there he is. He's coming our direction, coming our direction. There he is. Is something in his talons? Wow. We heard him calling earlier. Very much an eagle calling. There's two of them up there. There's two of them circling. There seems to be a pair. I wonder if they have a nest in here or will be nesting in here. Man, this place is just rich in wildlife. This one spot we saw bobcat, coyote preying on the California ground squirrels. There's so many ground squirrels in here, so much abundance of food. Even though they're smaller, I could see, just because of the sheer abundance, they could sustain the golden eagle nesting site. You can see why that squirrel down there is in picket formation, the ground squirrel, just constantly, since we've been here for like 30 minutes. Standing upright, constant alert. He's obviously the sentinel, and all the others are foraging. Yeah, that was definitely an eagle. That was not.
What?
Did you actually get footage of that? It's a good place to take a break, take a lunch break. We got some picnic tables.
Pretty little creek.
It is, yeah.
Look at that. I wonder if there's any fish in there. Look how clear it is.
Oh, it's beautiful. Sonoma Canyon can serve as a trailhead to access the Ohlone Wilderness. We didn't want to linger too long here. It was a nice place to take a lunch break, had a lot of facilities, but we had an over 2,000 foot climb ahead of us. Here we are climbing out of Sonoma Canyon. Saw an epic shot of some common raven perched in this oak. A pair right next to each other. Great vantage point. This canyon is just loaded with wildlife. Saw golden eagle, bobcat, coyote. There they go.
Well, we got about 2 miles left to camp.
That's good.
Yeah.
Should get there right about twilight, right about sunset, perhaps?
Yeah, hopefully we're not hiking in the dark again.
I don't think so. Should be able to get there unless we see something really interesting.
All right, mountain mind. I wouldn't mind.
Climbing up to Mission Peak, and I heard some wings flapping, indicative of band-tailed pigeon. Lots of oak in here. They feed on acorns. Important game species. Game bird. California. Folks hunt band-tailed pigeon. Usually they're in larger flocks. You don't usually see them solitary like that. Do from time to time. There might be other individuals nearby. We just encountered chestnut-backed chickadee, locally quite common here along the coast in Northern California. Tend to be associated with Doug fir forests, but not a lot of Doug fir around here. Mostly hardwood conifer mix. Another oak titmouse forming a mixed flock. They'll do that in the wintertime for mixed flocks. Just to avoid predation, it's a strategy to defend against predation. Give the predator multiple targets.
Don't they compete on food though, as well?
They may, but they have slightly different niches in terms of smaller birds versus slightly larger bird.
So in the end, it's just worth it to avoid predation.
Yeah, there's a benefit.
Gotcha.
Okay, we see a Say's phoebe here foraging over this open meadow. I'll come back to that perch. Yeah, he came right back to that perch. So they pick a favorite perch where they'll sally from to catch insects over the meadow. Grassland species, perhaps a little bit less common than some of your other flycatchers. Typically you see them out east or further east of the Sierra Nevada. Oh, you went a little bit to the left. You follow it all the way out to the end.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
Yeah. We're approaching Mission Peak to the left here. Sun's going down just below the horizon. Beautiful open grassland up here near the summit. This grassland, this pasture land is very important habitat for a number of raptors. We've been tracking this white-tailed kite for the past half an hour, watching him forage and hunt. He finally caught something that looks like maybe a vole or some small rodent. I heard him calling, that's why I looked over there and I saw him. This is why,
so lucky.
this is why, well, not really. That's why you gotta be trained in vocalizations, because you can hear in 360 degrees. It's amazing. Yeah, perched right on there. Not much to perch on in this area here. Is it a vole or?
You can come try to.
That's all right, just hold it steady. Finally caught his dinner. Ooh, he picked out the guts or something, or spine or whatever that was. We rejected that. It's amazing their skill at hovering. We didn't capture it on video, but they can even do like a controlled descent. They can hover down slowly. Yeah, it looks like he's trying to swallow the prey item whole right now. Swallowing it whole. So most birds, in fact, pretty much all birds, swallow their food whole. They might tear off pieces of flesh like these raptors do. But eventually they'll swallow the whole thing whole. Or swallow a big chunk of it whole because they don't have teeth. They don't have teeth to chew their food. So the option for birds is to swallow it whole or break off small pieces like what he's doing here, or she. There we are. So we're up here on the top of the saddle. Jacob's recording there, so he's up here where he was feeding on this shrub here. But he forages all of these grasslands all the way down in this swale down here, and all of these pasture lands are his hunting grounds. Lots of food. Some quail right here in the road, on the trail. Large covey. Lighting is very dim. I'm going to do the best we can. Yeah, that must be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting like 15 right now. There's a cluster coming right towards us. Probably from first years in there. They look like young juveniles, perhaps. Feeding on something in the road.
I don't know if the cows are happy with us here. Scared me. I think they saw us.
No, something caused them to flush. Yeah, I realized what they're feeding on here. They're feeding on the cow manure on the trail. The quail covey came in here and is feeding on all the cow manure. That's why they keep coming back to it. Fresh cow manure. Probably there's seeds and maybe even insects attracted to the cow manure. There could be a number of things that they're feeding on. And here's the cow remains. That's pleasant. There's the skull and the rib cage. A long history of ranching since the Spanish were here several hundred years ago. And to this day, they're grazing that's grandfathered in this wilderness area. So here we are at, was it Mission Spring?
No, this is Eagle Spring.
Eagle Spring. Eagle Spring Campground. Yeah, there's our water right below Mission Peak. Probably. We'll check the map. Jacob feels that's Mission Peak right there. Oh wow, look at those city lights down there. That's nice. Nice view. All right, here we are. Home sweet home.
All right, so according to my watch, today we did 9.3 miles. Our total ascent was 2,582 feet, and our total descent was 2,060 feet.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Good morning. Looking over the Bay Area down below. Lovely morning, clear skies. There's Mission Peak above us. So here we are on our last morning, our last day out. Really is a remarkable place, this Ohlone Wilderness. We were just surprised, Jacob and I were surprised at the amount of wildlife that's just packed in here across the whole length of the trail. We saw all kinds of things like feral pigs. What else did we see? Bobcat,
coyote. I got him.
Golden eagle.
Yeah.
All kinds of bird life. The bird life is very active and dense in here. A variety of habitats. We're surrounded by grasslands now and pasture lands, as well as oak woodland. But what really impresses me about this place is that it's right on the edge of a metropolis, the Bay Area, where millions of people live. But for the past 5 days, it's truly felt like we've been in wilderness. We've had solitude. We haven't seen a single soul for the first 4 days until we came into
Sonol.
Mm-hmm. And then we saw a few day hikers here and there, at least this time of year. We're here in January. The neat thing for Jacob is that he's lived here his whole life in the Bay Area. He doesn't live too far away, but he encouraged me to come hike this with him, and this is his first time out in
the Ohlone Wilderness.
Yeah, first time out on this trail, and it's been a real treat for him to explore a part of the backyard he's never been in before. Okay, leaving Eagle Springs Campground right below Mission Peak. Our hike out, easy hike out. What's our drop?
Well, we're going from 2,100 feet to 300 feet.
2,100 feet to
300 feet.
Oh, yep. It's going to be a bone-jarring descent. Goodbye, Eagle Springs.
Goodbye.
All right. Pretty amazing view coming up right here. There's the East Bay area.
Wow. That's so crazy. Look how small those houses are.
Oh yeah.
You have to walk like all the way down there.
Yeah. They have, I think, a nearly 2,000 foot drop.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
Mission.
2,000.
There's Mission Peak right there. We're right on the saddle, just below Mission Peak. Beautiful up here. Good work.
Yeah, good stuff.
Here we are on top of Mission Peak. We decided to summit it. I didn't really feel like it, but Jacob encouraged me, so we went ahead and summited it. So here we are on top of Mission Peak.
It's
You can
beautiful.
see the entire East Bay region. Actually, I can see all the way down to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage you folks, if you're in the Bay Area and you've never heard of this place, Ohlone Wilderness, really is a special spot. It's a gem. Just a couple miles away from urban area, megalopolis, millions of people, but you can get solitude. We didn't see a single soul. Looking down the spine here, you can see behind me, that's Ohlone Wilderness. Good job, Jacob. Thanks for sharing me this spot.
Yep. It's been fun.
There's our campground down there. We're just climbing down Mission Peak. There's where we were camped last night. Down there. Maybe see the campground. Straight down that steep slope. I think it was worth the hike up to Mission Peak.
Oh yeah, I would agree with you.
American robins will often form groups in the wintertime. They're solitary during the breeding season, defend their territories, but form groups to avoid predation, sometimes quite large groups. Descending down, I think this is Fremont here in the East Bay area. You can see suburbia down there, freeway, civilization. Wow.
This trail is steep, huh?
It's steep. They don't mess around when they designed this trail. This is such bad trail erosion. It really isn't a good way to construct a trail. They should put some switchbacks in here.
Oh my gosh, it is a death sentence. I think you picked the correct way. In fact, I'm gonna head over towards your...
Decided to take a little break here on our way down and do some birding in this coastal chaparral. Oh, nice. So Buick wren will have several song types. They learn their songs from their neighbors, from other males, as when they're juveniles. And then, so there'll be like several song types sort of in the neighborhood, and they'll have a repertoire of songs. Each area will have its own distinct repertoire of song type, yet nonetheless, it still sounds like a Buick wren. We recorded at least 2 different song types here. There's probably more than that. There's probably, I would guess, at least 3 or 4 or around there, song types that he knows and that he'll sing. And then his neighbors will counter sing and match those song types. And there he is again, scolding, defending his territory from neighboring wrens. There's several territories in here, several wrens.
And we saw the golden crown as well.
Yeah, golden crown sparrow.
Golden crown, it is golden.
Here we are, coming up on the trailhead. How many miles, Jacob?
Total?
Yeah.
The whole trip?
Yep.
I think we did like 27, 28 maybe?
That's good.
Yeah.
Here we are back in suburbia. Like right there. There's the houses. There's the trailhead. Good job.
All right.
Woo-hoo. Here we are in Ohlone Ohlone?
Ohlone.
Ohlone. Here are in Ohlone Regional Wilderness.